Eriwoya! Greetings, initiates and devotees of Ifa-Orisa tradition. It's Day. Welcome in and welcome back to another episode. Today, we're actually discussing the Odu Ifa of 2022-2023. Ashe. Before we get started, if you're interested in a personal Ifa reading, if you're interested in a head Orisha reading, if you're interested in Ifa-Orisa related ebooks, online training, spiritual consultation, tarot reading, anything like that, check out my website, daydreamalston.com. Ashe. So this is not going to be a long video. I really wanted to just stop by and share some of the things that stood out to me about this reading for the upcoming year. You'll be able to find the entire reading on my website, daydreamalston.com. Just check the link in the description box or in the comments below, okay? And it'll take you to the entire reading. You can check it out and, just interpret it for yourself. Ashe. So, every year around this time, Babas and Iyas and, devotees gather in Ile-Ife, Osun State, Nigeria, to cast this Ifa for the year, right? And this year, what came out was, drum roll, Odu Ofun. That's Odi on the right, Ofun on the left. Unfortunately, the Odu came with Ibi, Iku. Ibi is like negative fortune, right? And Iku means death. So, Ebo is recommended, but Ebo would be recommended whether it came in Ibi or Ire, which is negative fortune or good fortune, okay? So the way I've been told to look at the readings of the year is kind of like with an eye, for what stands out to me and what applies to my situation, because some of the verses that come up in the reading of the year won't apply to you. You kind of take what applies and let the rest fly. So say, for instance, you and your partner, you and your spouse have been trying to conceive and have been unable to. In the verses, you'll find, some information for people who are barren, for people who have been struggling. You can actually take that information to your own Iya or Baba, right? Or book a reading through my website to find out if that particular verse and Ebo applies to your situation. Okay, so it's kind of like looking for what, stands out to you or what you need. It's like take what you need from the reading, right? And leave the rest because it all won't apply. So I wanted to just share some of the notes from my research and my discussion with my Baba about Odi Ofun and just some of my thoughts on it, right? So when Odu Ifa, Odi Ofun comes down, this is the Odu of rebirth. Like when I see this, I see the need for a complete makeover in our lives, in society, and in our cultures. Like there's a real need to let go of what does not work. There's a real need to look at our lives, right? And really sit down and deliberate on what in our life is working, what fits us, what in our life is not working and no longer fits, and having the courage to walk away from and let go of the things that no longer fit or no longer work for us. This Odu encourages us to go in new directions, to go with the flow of life and to embrace change. This is not the time to resist change, to fight it, to kind of get stuck in our ways and stagnant and stubborn. Like you have to be open to newness in life and to going in new directions, taking new paths. This really is an Odu that indicates a shift in consciousness. And I mean, this could be a good thing for the world, actually, right? If we can see that certain things haven't been good for us and decide that we'll no longer, continue going down that path. But when it comes to shifts in consciousness as well, you have people that are very resistant to that. Like people really get stuck in their ideas and beliefs. So for those people, this is going to be a tough year. In this Odu, we also find enemies, hidden enemies, enemies that create confusion. And one of the verses, it was talking about hypnotism. There's a few verses that talk about hypnotism. But what that made me think of is how sometimes the media, mass media, the news, even, social media trends are used to kind of hypnotize people and to get them to look at a certain thing a certain way and cause like division between groups. So be very careful of that this year. I see that there is a hidden enemy that will be trying to cause strife between us, right? Between different groups, make it seem like it's us versus them when really it needs to be more of a collective effort. There's a need when this Odu falls to pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to your own dreams, but there may be someone around you who has the gift of dreams, right? Prophetic dreaming. And you need to really take note of those dreams because they might actually come to pass. And when those dreams, like say you have really bad dreams over and over again, it's a good idea to go get a reading and do Ebo to make sure those bad dreams don't come to pass. One of the things that's important as well is ancestor veneration, like really holding up your heritage and your ancestry, working with your bloodlines for healing, to bring about good changes in one's life. You want to get super cool, buddy with Eshu Odada this year, because it is, through Eshu that you could see great popularity, great wealth. Obatala, Ashe, my favorite Orisha, comes up this year. So, you want to wear white. You want to, walk with a cool head as much as possible and things like that. So those are some of the things that stuck out to me about Odi Ofun. Try to avoid arguments, petty arguments, speaks of illness and the need to show gratitude, okay? Oh, this also speaks, if you have children, it's very important that you protect your children this year. Watch after your children. Pay attention to who they're spending time with and how they act after spending time with particular people. Also, it's good to watch over your elders. Make sure they're not being mistreated, okay? So those are some of the things that stood out to me, and I wanted to share that. There was also a verse. Let me just look. I believe it's number, let me see. It's the last one. Yes, number 15 in the reading of the year. Like I said, you can find this on my website. The link will be in the description box and in the comments. It speaks of the spiritual cleansing of Orisha paraphernalia. Right, so it says we need to wash our ikin and other Orisha paraphernalia with ewuro, which is bitter leaves, for effective supplications. The verse goes, rats understand rats, fishes understand fishes, toads understand frogs in the river. All that frogs say in the river are clear to Olu Eri, the king of the river. Ifa revelation to Orumila, when his ikin didn't understand him anymore. Here comes Awude leaves, bitter leaves, a deity in the river. Whoever knows Awude leaves has known a deity. So what stood out to me about that was this line, when his ikin didn't understand him anymore. There will be times, and this comes up in different Odu, that your Ifa, your Orisha, will be sleeping or slumbering or not as effective as they normally would be. And what happens is there's a need to feed them something specific to wake them up, to get them to be more responsive, right, and effective. So in this case, they're saying this year you need to prepare, like, a little bath with ewuro or bitter leaves, and use that to wash your ikin and other paraphernalia. You can also ask your Orisha if this is something that they need, right? Because in this case, your Orisha may be wide awake and don't need that. But if you've been noticing that, you know, your Orisha haven't been as effective, or you are feeling like their impact has lessened, then maybe you want to do this, okay? One more thing, the taboos for the year: do not drink palm wine, do not eat, what is this, Iran Ogbo, which is a type of cat. Do not disrespect your Oluo and elders. Do not commit adultery. Don't drink to the point of getting intoxicated. Do not starve yourself and guess. When they mean and guest, this Odu talks about if you're having, you can have like parties, right? And parties actually this year, if you throw a party and you make sure you have enough food and drink, that can actually bring good fortune to your life. And they're saying make sure you have enough. When you have guests over, make sure you have enough food and drink for guests, as well as yourself, right? And do not procrastinate. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the Iyas and Babas who took the time out to cast Ifa and chant these verses for us. Truly appreciative, and thank you for joining me for this video. You take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Ashe!